Republic of Maslea is a new lands mod for the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim by the mod author Anthelius. The mod is set on the new Colovia Archipelago in the Padomaic Ocean, halfway between Tamriel and Akavir. In this mini-series of videos, I will share my review and observation of every quest added by Republic of Maslea. The focus will be on quest design and writing, just like my Beyond Skyrim Bruma, Helgen Reborn and Falcast and other videos. Parts 1 and 2 we documented the main quests, and in this part we focus on the first set of side quests. If you don't care about spoilers, let's get started then. Alright, we are at Fenedas Brickworks. Let's talk to this guy.
Good morning.
Do you have work for me? I may have something, but it's not very thrilling. I mostly craft parade weapons for collectors. If I only did basic weapons, I wouldn't compete with the big forges in the capital. For one of my pieces, I could use that famous dwarven metal from the continent. But it's almost impossible to find here. Oh my god, we gotta go to Skyrim. If you get me, let's say 5 ingots, I would reward you with a few solids. I could even teach you a few blacksmith tricks. What blacksmith tricks? I could teach you how to craft your own muskets. Oh, that sounds fun. Very well, I'll bring them to you. I'm from Skyrim. This shouldn't be very difficult.
Good day.
Alright, we have arrived from Skyrim and we have our 5 dwarven ingots. Let's go give it to this guy. I have what you wanted. Really? Wonderful. Let me see those marbles. He has never seen dwarven ingots. Do you like it? Incredible. This alloy is so pure. We'll probably never be able to reproduce it. Thanks a lot for the service. Here's a little something to reward you. Now let me teach you a thing or two about how to craft muskets. I'm sure you'll find it useful. Muskets, huh? Maslean money, 200 bucks. Okay. So, go to steel and craft a musket. Okay. So let's craft some medium musket bullets. 1. Okay. And we have the gun. Wow, it even has an animation. Superb. And that improved our archery too, right? Okay, so this behaves like a crossbow. Pretty awesome, pretty awesome. I love it. Although for a pure restoration mage like Alara, a musket sounds inappropriate, but that's fine. Fun, that's a fun quest. Alright, to start this side quest, we are at Fenedas Brickworks. Okay, a small town here. And we have this lady who's kind of looking sad. You look very sad. I'm taking care of my husband at the moment. He's in a coma. I'm sorry, I don't feel like talking. I might be able to help you. Oh really? Oh well, I got nothing to lose. Nobody can help me at the moment. If you know any healing spells, I'd be happy to benefit from your arts. Oh, poor thing. Follow me, I will show him to you. And that starts the quest Echoes of War. I've met Olivia, a young woman from the Maslean outskirts who looks very sad. Her husband is a former member of the Republican Guard and has been in a coma since his last fight. I have accepted to examine him to discover the cause of his affliction. Alright. Let's go talk to her. These are beautiful designs. The Morata really has an eye for design, right? You can tell clearly. Alright, bonjour, Olivia. Here he is. All the bone setters I've dealt with told me there was nothing more to be done. I don't have the means to get advice from properly skilled mages. If you could do anything at all, I would be forever in your debt. Olivia says her husband Galivios fought in the Republican Guard against the Arshani in the battle where he took a violent blow to the head. She hands over her husband's diary for us to do some investigation and undresses her husband for examination. To our shock, we find Daedric alphabets on the skin of Galivios. We read the diary and learn about a friend of Galivios. Who is this Anthelius mentioned in the book? Apparently, it's one of his battle comrades. I tried to find him, but to no avail. He probably suffered the same fate as my husband, if not worse. I'll try to find this Anthelius to get more clues. It looks like he has a girlfriend in Paluswell. This could be a good lead. Yes, we read in the book that he was looking at a photo of his girlfriend, Julia. So we got to talk to Julia, alright? Thanks for doing that for me. Come back with some good news. So, we have to visit the town of Paluswell and meet this friend of Galivios. At Paluswell, we bump into Julia, who mentions that her husband's name is Vexillo and can be found in her home.
Till next time.
When we meet Vexillo, he is not interested in talking to us, so we have options to persuade, bribe or intimidate him. Once he is satisfied, he starts talking about Galivios.
Oui, j'ai combattu avec Galivios à la bataille de Peroslea.
Right.
Qu'est-ce que vous voulez savoir?
Galivios seems to be suffering from some strange Daedric curse. Do you know anything about such things?
Oui, bien sûr. Tous les survivants de la bataille le savent. Ce jour-là, nous étions 3 fois supérieurs aux Archani, en nombre et en matériel. Nous étions solidement retranchés dans Peroslea, le moral au beau fixe.
So we learn about how the Arshani people used a sorcerer to curse the Republican Guard. While Galivios fainted, Vexillo managed to escape. He suggested that we talk to a Malsmer at Bel Etsi.
J'ai passé des mois et des mois à faire des cauchemars. Je ne sortais plus de chez moi, je ne mangeais plus. J'ai perdu la moitié de mon poids. Heureusement, elle m'a pu trouver un elfe disposé à lever la malédiction. Un certain Nartexi de Bel Etsi.
Aspholios told me about the battles he and Galivios went through in Peroslea. It seems they were both victims of a Daedric malediction. Apparently, a Malsmer named Nazi might know about a way to break the curse. Malsmer. Interesting. At the village of Bel Etsi, we meet Nazi and tell him about Galivios and the Daedric runic mark on his skin. Nazi says such curses are hard to break, but he could create a shock potion that could save him from Daedric influence. He mentioned an alchemy ingredient called Ombra salts. But there is a problem. This ingredient can only be retrieved from a local tribe called Krai. So we will have to talk to a shaman there. The tribal camp is at Tal Usharitz, east of Belitsi. At the tribal village, we see some bandits harassing some people. We intervene and eliminate the bandits and save the tribals. That gives us access to the shaman. Yes, I need Ombra salts to lift a curse. Oh, a very rare and precious ingredient. That said, in light of what you have done to us today, it's the least I can offer you. Let the spirits of the Keshwal be with you. Be careful, as they are salts of a rare power. Okay. Now with the ingredient in our hand, we get back to Bel Etsi. Nazi mixes the ingredients and prepares the potion. He also mentions that we must drink the potion too simultaneously. Now back at the house, Olivia says she will watch over us as we drink the potion too. Then, we are teleported into the nightmare of Galivios. After fighting some cookie cutter enemies, we find him on a pole. What? Who are you? What do you want from me? I'm a friend of your wife. I'm going to bring you back home. No, it's too late. I have been cursed by the Ashani. I will never leave this place. You see the totems? They're binding my soul to this plane. If you destroy them, I could leave this plane, but I wouldn't be myself anymore. What do you want me to do in this case? Kill me. Let my soul join the one. Tell Olivia it was the only way, and tell her I still love her. At this point, we have a choice to make. Either do as Galivios says and kill him, or bring his body back to his wife, knowing that he won't stay the same. We will document both the cases. Once we kill Galivios, we are teleported back to Olivia's home.
I'll let you live, this time.
You're back at last. Speak, what happened? My husband is still in a coma. He's not even breathing anymore. He will wake up, right? Alas, I don't think so. It was his decision. What? What do you mean? It was impossible to end the curse. It would have made him sufferings even worse. He told me that you would understand and he loves you. Oh no, by the one, why? Olivia asks us to leave her alone and that ends the quest. What a sad ending of this quest, huh? What a sad ending. Very good quest design, right? You have stages of quests failing and then you have a different branch. If we choose to burn the totems in the dream world, we return to Olivia with Galivios. He's here, okay? You're back at last. Speak, what happened? My husband woke up, but he doesn't say a single word. I don't think he even recognizes me. Oh no, is this worse? Maybe this is a worse decision. Oh no. I'm sorry, I'm afraid his state won't really improve. The curse is too powerful. Thanks for what you have done. I'll be able to take care of him more easily now.
Farewell.
2000 Maslea money. Holy crap, that's a lot of money. And that ends this branch. What is the right option? At least she's not suffering now. At least she has a man to take care of, I guess. I guess this is the better option. She has a purpose right now in life, right? Very good, very interesting quest, very interesting. Echoes of War proved to be a highly engaging quest. It featured compelling characters, well-written dialogue, an investigative element, and even included a side mission to a tribal village to procure a specific ingredient. The concept of entering a character's nightmare was reminiscent of Oblivion's Painted World quest. A notable strength was the impactful choice at the conclusion and the resulting emotional response from the character Olivia. Echoes of War was fantastic. To start this quest, we talked to Unatsi at the Beletsi village. She wants our help to re-establish the ancestral bond with one Philia, who is the conduit between the Cry people and the Quechua or Daedric princess. Unatsi believes that the Daedric princes are the true gods. She also mentions that the Philia are chosen among the young girls of the village and can live for thousands of years. Sure, why not? Where should I start? Oh, you accept? Wonderful! Now that's where the difficulty lies. The Philia live in isolated places and the last elf who contacted them died long ago. There are certainly some clues in the sacred house, but this bloody irritating Alken refused to speak to me. Perhaps you might be able to persuade him. Irritating Alken. Good luck, let me know how you get on. So that gives us a new quest called the Old Customs. To begin my investigation, I should talk to the Alken of the Cry. We then meet the Alken of the village who has an ancient Daedric artifact in his locker. Do you know what it can be used for? It probably has something to do with the Philia. In my opinion, it's an old trick used to feed people superstition and ignorance. I wouldn't worry about it too much if I were you. Yo! Wake up! Unatsi! Wake up! I've obtained something in the sacred house that looks like a key. Do you know what it is? We talked to Unatsi about the Daedric artifact called Seal of Lishatsu, which was obtained from the Philia 500 years ago. She tells us about the 3 glyphs on the seat and deduces that the Philia could be located at the peak of Morihos, near Beletsi. Do you know that name? It was the ancient name of the big rock east. Now the human call it Peak of Morihos. There are many caves around here. The Philia probably lives in one of them. Anyway, you made very good progress. I can't wait for the end of your investigations. Wow. Find the Philia's hideout. We follow Unatsi's directions and arrive at the entrance of a cave. Bel Philiasi Cave. Monarchic era coin.
Did you hear that?
My ears didn't deceive me.
Nice coins.
No need to thank me.
Let's go, Remy. Use your gun. Yeah, she's using a gun. Look at that.
My
Wow.
gun here will tear you to pieces.
Oh no.
Oh, that's stupid. Oh, Scrap. You'll curse you. Just another body to... Oh, whoops. I need to pay more attention to where I'm walking. Sorry. It doesn't have to be that you did so good, Scrap.
Remy, why didn't you use your gun?
Dying the first
After fighting more cookie cutter enemies, we arrive at an old structure.
I smell blood in the water.
Right. Catch my breath.
Get back here, coward.
Stay still and I'll give you a shave.
Dead, deceased, gone, perished, fallen, extinct.
This is spectacular. Really, really good. Wow. It is time to meet the Philia. Wow. So unique. Talk to the Philia. Ooh, we found the Philia? It's amazing. Before we do that, look at Unatsi. Philia is essentially a conduit between these people and the Daedric Prince, right? So I wonder which Daedric Prince is talking to this lady. We'll find out. Oh wow. Philia, where art thou? Philia. Where is Philia? Oh wow, look at the roof. Oh, she's here. Ah, she's sitting. Approach, fair stranger. Who are you? I am Zelinara, Philia of the Nuragi Cry since almost 800 years ago. Well, you don't look like an 800-year-old woman. Yeah, you look like 15. My pact with the Quechua princess grants me many privileges. But I guess that's not why you come to ask me. Yes, I come on behalf of the Nuragi woman. She wants you to protect their cry once again. Yes, that sweet little Unatsi, I know. When her husband was ruling, she wasn't so upset about the lack of traditions, by the way. Oh really? It's only now that she's totally hopeless, she tries to contact me to get rid of the Republic's influence. Yeah, how dare she, huh? But the Quechua princes don't forgive so easily. They can't erase centuries of moral decay like that. What do you want in exchange? I guess there are much better things to do. I know you are Dragonborn. Together we could achieve a lot of things. The Philia accepts Unatsi's proposal, but we stick around and ask some more questions. What can you tell me about the Philia? We are the keepers of the archipelago. We protect thousands of years of knowledge and traditions. We are the link from the Elven Cry to the masters from the Quechua. If the Shaka are obedient to their masters, there is no power which can't be granted to them. They say you worship the Daedra. Yes, that's a term humans use. They prefer to worship conceptual gods which they redefine according to their needs at the time. But we are a people of the earth. We need the rain, the sun, moonlight and the seasons. What is this place? Did you build this yourself? Of course not. I wouldn't have chosen such a foreign style. Oh, I see. This place is the tomb of Diatikos II, a megalomaniac Maslean king from the first era. He wanted a grave matching his power, isolated enough not to be defiled by intruders. But since he's not there to complain anymore, I took the place for myself. After all, how could a colonist king raise any protest? Okay. You're living here. I've spoken to the Philia of the Nuragi. She told me that she accepted Unatsi's request. I should return to Unatsi and let her handle the next step. Alright, Philia, have fun in this
I feel like Tamriel has a lot of
crazy place.
sized and shaped caves.
Yeah. What about this cave, huh? Zell, what do you think about this cave? Alright. Back at the village, Unatsi talks about preparing a dark ceremony which will get rid of the Alken and restore ancient Daedric prince worship in the village. You're going to organize a Daedric ceremony? Are you sure you're not going too far? This should have been done a long time ago. So few are left of our community these days, and I won't let them become slaves of those damn humans. I'm going to gather people I trust near the rock circle tonight. That's where everything will happen. I want you to be there. Oh wow, Unatsi, what a lady. Fine, let's go. We are then treated to a wonderful cutscene. Here on sacred soil of our ancestors where they used to perform the great Duan Sakskara ceremonies. I've asked you to come here because I no longer want a cry to be ruled by an Elysian priest disguised as an Alken. It's a cutscene, huh? Nice. We can no longer ignore our most ancient traditions. We need to find our failure, the link with our real gods. Oh wow. What is she saying? She's crazy. By Saint Alicia, this is heresy. Look at you, you act like slaves. Who is this Alicia you're talking about? Has she grown up in the archipelago? Did she do anything for you? Yeah, good, fair point, Unatsi. Nuragi people, suck off all the isles, become yourself once again. Behold the power of the true religion. Whoa! By the saints! I guess no one among you knows who I am. I have been chosen more than 800 years ago to become your filia. I have maintained the link with the Keshwal princess and protect the cry as long as the prince had been paid. We need blood atoned for our mistakes. To restore our former glory, we need a new Dwan Saksara, the dark ceremony. Exactly, my dear Unatsi. That's why I asked you to bring your son to the ceremony. Ooh.
Do you know a soul trap spell?
For a real Dwansara to redeem for so many centuries of sins, we need a sacrifice. In exchange, the Prince Molochintui will grant me huge powers. This person will be your new Alken. A new era is about to begin for our cry. Molochin Akseti Tamantia. Once the cutscene is over, Filia teleports us to the realm of Munakbal, where she tests our loyalty. Where are we? In the domain of a very powerful lord known as the Molochintu. And to you, Molakbal? Holy crap, okay. Don't worry, we won't be here for long, only long enough to offer him what he was promised. Afterwards, we will lead the elves in southern Maslea together. You are the new Alken material. You want me to sacrifice this young boy? Let's talk about an offering. Unatsi would never have had the guts to come and see me. It was thanks to you that all of this was possible. Now it's time to finish what you started. Now we have a choice. Oh. We will document both the cases here. Very well, accept your offer. Perfect, don't dally.
See you around.
Kill Nurtezi Vak. I'm in Cold Harbor, the realm of Molakbal. The Filia has asked me to sacrifice Unatsi's son and I agreed. Now I only need to do what must be done. Oh no, poor kid. You want to go home? You can't. Oh, that's the way you kill him? Oh no! What? Once the talk is done, Filia teleports us back to Maslea. But now we are faced with a few Republican Guard soldiers. How cute are they? Well, very well. Here comes enough blood to seal our new alliance. Wow. Also, they'll be a perfect example for those who wish to worship Republic more than themselves. Die, dirty humans. She's going to slaughter them.
Pardon me for disturbing.
We easily dispatch them, but in the battle, Unatsi and the Alken of the village die. We then talk to Filia, who appoints us the new Alken. She says we will act as the middlemen with the villagers. No more one god, no more republic, no more Elysian brothers, followers of Velinius or anything like that. Enough of these pathetic imports. Oh wow, okay. Glory to the Daedra. We will regain a form of glory thanks to the one who crossed the seas. Yeah, Mulak Bal. Mix Pantawa, Alken. I'll contact you very soon. Philia. Oh, wow. Awesome quest. Awesome. If we visit the village, all the people address us as the new Altkin. And that completes the quest. Let's take a look at the other branch. If we don't kill Unatsi's son, the Philia turns hostile. Pitiful. I expected better from you. You are as weak as the rest of your kind. Never mind, I'll find other Altkin. Oh! Oh, Daedroth!
God! I'm going to enjoy it. Why are they hurting me?
Stupid Philia. Okay, now you can talk to Unatsi and her boy. Back at Maslea, Unatsi is horrified to learn about how the Philia wanted to sacrifice her son. She then realizes that leaving the past behind is better. And that completes the quest. The Old Customs is a compelling introduction to the Philia, the ancient sacred princess of a Malsmer village, who serves as a conduit between a Daedric prince and her people. The strength of this quest lies in the gradual reveal of this ancient entity before we finally meet her. The narrative then draws us into a Daedric prince's intricate plot, offering the player two main paths. We can ally with the Philia and help restore the ancient Daedric worship tradition, or we can choose to immediately suppress the entire notion. The Old Customs quest was amazing. Alright guys, we have come to the end of this video. We showcase some interesting side quests, and in the final episode, we explore more side content of this amazing mod. What did you think about the quest we discussed today? Do share your thoughts in the comments and be sure to check out the next part. If you're still here, I appreciate you and thank you all for watching. May the Divine's guard and keep you.